Welcome back to Origami Snowman. Oh, that's embarrassing. Because I'm so much on a Brandy Sandy kick. I'm I almost said I'm just finishing up the second book of the Stormlight Archive. I'm only about maybe 500 or 600 pages away from the end. So I've just, it's on my mind. It's here in my heart always. I'm turning on a light because I got notes. Now, do I like Stormlight Archive as much as I like Mistborn? I don't know. Hard to say. I'm very captivated. I'm putting in the time. It's fascinating. It's so interesting and well written. And man, I wish she just would take better care of herself because she scares me every time she leaves the house. She just doesn't seem to have a whole lot of survival instinct. But anyway, whatever. It's fine. I was just thinking, like, going back to Mistborn, if I were an Allomancer, what kind would I want to be? I mean, obviously you want to be a Mistborn, but that's the obvious answer. But if you couldn't be a Mistborn, if you had to choose one, what would you choose? Now, let's break them down. For those of you who don't know, who aren't familiar, pardon me, I just sort of did one of those quiet inside burps that is going to end up wreaking havoc on my body later. But you're welcome. Otherwise, you would have had to hear it. Instead, you just had to hear me talk about it, which is probably just as unpleasant. Anyway, back to the magic. So, the idea, and I've not been super duper clear about this in any of my other videos. So if you're not a fan of Mistborn or any of that stuff, there will probably be some spoilers because I'm just not good at not spoiling things. So Allomancy is it's a magic system that involves ingesting metal particulate, and then you kind of can feel it inside you, and you can kind of like burn it. You activate it. They call it burning it. And while it's burning, it gives you an ability, and for the most part, they really focus on 8 metals, basic allomantic metals, and they are iron, steel, tin, pewter, brass, zinc, copper, and bronze. Some of these metals, one of the characters finds that she's actually been getting trace amounts of a metal through the water supply. Hello, Timmy. Regular Timmy 666 just walked in, gave me a very judgmental look, and then left the room. I'm so proud of him. So those are most people, most Allomancers, they intentionally ingest decent quantities of their preferred metal, and then they have like a stock, like they store it up and then they can use it. And each metal does something different. Iron allows you to like pull on nearby metal, like kind of like telekinesis. You can kind of draw it towards you, or if it's very heavy, like say it's a big metal like door, then it'll pull you. It depends on your weight. Steel allows you to push on metal. So one lets you pull on it, one lets you push on it. Same rules apply. If you're pushing on like a coin, that coin will go flying through the air like a bullet. They call those guys steel Allomancers. They call them coin shots. Iron Allomancers are called lurchers. They don't really use that term a lot, but coin shot gets used a lot. Tin, it enhances your senses, like your sight and sound and all that, but also like your tactile senses, so like your sense of touch, and that you can imagine that would be pretty helpful. Those guys are called tin eyes. Then pewter, it enhances your physical abilities. So it makes you faster, makes you stronger. You can kind of heal yourself. It keeps you awake. It pushes your body to the limit. And those guys are called pewter arms, or more commonly, thugs. Then there's brass, which you can use that to soothe the emotions of people around you. And it kind of, if you're subtle with it, you can influence like the emotions. Like you can be very convincing. It allows you to sort of sway people one way or the other. It's a kind of a political move. And then on the other side of that is zinc, which allows you to riot the emotions of people. So one allows you to kind of like calm everybody down, everybody chill out, and then the other can like really get people amped up. And then there's copper, which allows, a person to hide allomancy. So like, say you've got a group of people, allomancers, and you don't want them found, you would have someone burning copper. That's called a smoker, and that sort of screens those allomancers from someone burning bronze, a seeker, which bronze reveals allomancy. So each metal has like a partner, which does sort of not necessarily the opposite, but it's a comparative but alternate ability. So, you look at those and you think which is the best one, and I look at like copper and bronze, and I think those are not cool. Like I can hide allomancy or I can reveal it. If you're trying to hide allomancy, it really doesn't do you any good, but other people might find your gift useful, and so you'd have to be part of a team. And the same thing with bronze. If you're trying to find allomancers, that's really the only reason that you would need that. And so those are, I'm sure, useful to a degree, but boring. Definitely not my choice. Timmy, what do you think?
What?
Which is your favorite allomantic metal? He's still not at the point where he wants to admit that he's red.
No, I'm thinking.
Oh, he's thinking. Sorry. Him feigning ignorance and him thinking look very similar. Get back to me. The other, brass and zinc, where you can soothe the emotions of others or you can riot their emotions, that also, I mean, that'd be more useful, I think, than copper and bronze. But I don't know. I think they seem kind of shady, and that's kind of how they're viewed in the books as, people like rioters and soothers they're not trusted by other allomancers. It's kind of they know what they can do and they don't like it. Don't mess with my emotions. Don't push, pull. Don't try to sway me. And I kind of agree. I don't really like it all that much, but yeah. So neither of those I don't think I would pick. But then you come down to iron, steel, tin, and pewter. Do you want to push or pull on metal, which is pretty cool, be very useful. The way they use them in the books is actually really, really cool. It's very very ninja, very Jedi. When they really get going, they do some pretty awesome stuff. In the second era, the Wax and Wayne series, Wax is a coin shot, which he uses to climb buildings, but the issue that he comes into is he's up there, he's going up, he like pulls himself, he pushes himself up, but then he's just up in the air and he can't really pull himself closer to the building, so he he has to find other ways to like move himself in, like so like being able to push, yeah, you can get yourself way up in the air, but then all of a sudden, you're up in the air. What are you gonna do? Yeah, whatever you pushed against is still on the ground. Hopefully, say it's like a manhole cover or something like that. Or you just drop a coin and the coin is pushing on the ground and you're pushing off of the coin. But then you get up in the air. What if somebody comes and takes your coin while you're kind of in your, you're in that midpoint where you're not really rising anymore, but you're also not falling. And then all of a sudden they just, coin, and they take the coin and you're like, oh, whoa. And so there's nothing left to push on and you're just in free fall. So you could get yourself into a lot of trouble that way. And I could totally see myself doing that. And something similar with being a lurcher, with pulling on metal, you see, there's railing up there. I'm going to pull myself up. Well, then you're pulling yourself up, and then you realize I've been letting myself go, and I'm a lot heavier than I should be. And then the railing comes loose, and now you're falling to the ground, and you hit the ground, and guess what else is falling? That railing is falling right on top of you. So I could see myself getting into some trouble with that. But how cool would it be, like, to just grab things and whoop, bring it to you across the room? But again, hey, I'm gonna, I'm in a fight and this guy pulls a knife. I'm gonna pull the knife away from him. Now there's a knife flying at me. I personally don't think I am responsible or clever enough to be a lurcher or a coin shot. So that comes down to being a tin eye or a pewter arm or a thug. Do I want enhanced?
Probably be the worst.
What?
So I was just saying, being a lurcher would probably be my last choice.
So regular Timmy 666 thinks his last choice of the 8 would be a lurcher. He wouldn't want to pull on metal. But how many times have you sat down and you've thought, I forgot to shut the door, and all you got to do is just like pull on the door and it click shut. But where I'm sitting, if I pull on the door, it'll open. So that's not good. You're right. Lurcher is stupid. Good job. Well done, Timmy.
Very limited use.
It does, but
in everyday life.
Brandel Sandalwood, he's really he's so good at coming up with new and clever ways to use these gifts. So but of course he's had more time to think about it. Anyway, so we've got your least favorite. Have you worked out your favorite?
I'd say maybe 10.
Tin eye. Mm-hmm. I think being a tin eye would actually be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Got the drawback of
Well, yeah, but now if you're smart with it, like not everyone in the series was. Some people used it irresponsibly and constantly, and it caused them some issues.
I seem to remember it only having good effects.
Good effects, he says. No, it did not have only good effects. He had to wear a rag around his eyes because everything was too bright. He couldn't see. He literally had to blind himself in order to see. I'm not saying names. I'm not spoiling. I'm doing my best. I'm being responsible. But being a tin eye would be pretty cool because you could, you'd enhance your hearing. You'd have to learn how to kind of focus it. Things would be too loud, but if you could dial it in. And the same thing with sight. You'd be able to look really, really far away and get very high detail. But at the same time, the light is so bright, it sears your retinas or your corneas or some part of your eye that you don't want seared. But I don't know. I kind of think being a pewter arm would be pretty cool because as someone,
Pewter's a close second,
yeah.
Still, you can still be a bad with tin.
Hey, hey, buddy, I gotta edit this now.
Okay, fine.
Thanks a lot.
You can still be really good at fighting without being a pewter arm, so you could be good at fighting and have tin.
Yeah, you can. You can.
Makes you way stronger.
You can be a tin eye.
Naturally better at fighting.
And learn to fight. But as someone who has my whole life been either a weak little nerd or a fat nerd, those are really. There was a time in where I was a hot nerd. That was a very, very narrow window of my life. And most of that, I didn't realize it was happening.
I mean, at least you had a window.
Yeah, buddy, it's coming. You're gonna get there. Yep, yep. You get out of that tech department, the ladies are gonna notice. Anyway, having an ability that would like make you stronger and faster, and just all around a threat. Like there's something so like dream fulfillment for me about that. You know, it's the idea, you know, like Captain America getting the serum that turns him into a beefy, manly man, you know? Like, that's awesome. You know, and I would say he didn't have to do any work, but Steve Rogers, that little man worked his rear end off. That's what, you know, that's really what made him. We're not talking about Captain America. Get it together. Boy, I wish you could have seen that shot that I just did. It was awesome. Yeah. So anyway,
Be a thug.
I think because I don't want to overthink it, I'm going to be less imaginative and say, I think I would choose being a thug. I would be a pewter arm. Regular Timmy 666 with his dirty mouth that I had to beep out. He would be a tin eye. He gave no reasons other than you could learn to fight.
I don't want to be in the front.
You what?
I don't want to be in the front.
You don't want to be in the front.
Like a
You you take an arrow and then you just burn pewter and it like heals. Jeez, it's like he didn't even pay attention to the book. Anyway, no, if you're a tin eye, then they
The rings would have ended differently before.
if you're a tin eye, you get all the hard jobs. They send you in like a spy. I'm telling you, anytime somebody's like chosen for spy work, in a novel, it doesn't matter. It could be James Bond. I get so anxious. Like it's just that like, I don't know why. I don't. It doesn't make me feel good at all. So the idea of being a tin eye, you know, that's great for spy work. You know.
Wuss.
Yeah, I'm a wuss. I'd much rather get out on the front line and punch people in the teeth. That's how much of a wuss I am. Takes all the thought out of it. It's like, is that the bad guy? Great. I'm going to go punch him in the teeth. It's easy, you know? You don't have to think about it. No decisions to be made. And every now and then, someone headbutts you so hard your head explodes. That's... And here's the great thing. I don't know. So, yeah, that did happen in the book. I don't know. Timmy, listen, come here. I don't know if you... I don't know if you remember...
I remember it.
In Scott Pilgrim versus the World, she says, "You headbutted my boyfriend so hard, his head exploded." And the parallel did not... It did... And what rained down out of his head from the headbutt? Coins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember it being blood.
I have a hard time believing that one didn't influence the other. Now I'd have to look at publication dates, but
Yeah.
is Brandley Sandley a Scott Pilgrim fan? How could he not be? Or is the guy who wrote Scott Pilgrim, whose name I should know, but I don't. Is Brandon Lee? Is that it? Or Lee O'Malley or Brandon O'Malley? Or there's somebody. I'm saying a lot of words that are real close. Edgar Wright, he worked on the movie. I'm talking about the comic book. I'm talking about the source material, nerd. Oh, my word. Go upstairs to your room. Ugh. It's hard to punish your kid and send him to his room when that's really the only place in the world he wants to be. Oh, boy. So, yeah, what would be your preferred Allomantic skill, Allomantic gift? Hey, Silverblood! Come here! I have a question! We're gonna ask the expert here. What is your preferred Allomantic ability? Would you like to look at the list to refresh?
Specific?
Don't listen to your brother. He's an idiot.
I really like Actually, I like tin.
Tin. Oh my word! Give me the thing and get out.
What'd you say?
You're both grounded. I'm not telling you. You have to watch the video to find out.
Pewter's nice too.
Shut it. Don't patronize
As long as
me.
it's not like bronze.
Oh, no. Seriously, who would pick bronze? Ugh. Anyway. So, I think a cleverer person could do more as a lurcher or a coin shot. I just don't think I have it in me to be that clever person. However, it would be really, really fun to use the Allomantic highway that they find outside of the city, outside of Luthadel. The ingots that are buried periodically in the ground, and they use them to push, and they just and they just like launch themselves like recklessly through the night. That would be really fun. And I would that's 100% how I would end up getting myself killed. But it would be amusing, you know. But if you were a Mistborn, man, yeah, that would be really appealing. Oh, whoops, I went over. I was supposed to stop at 50. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. But I got myself talking. All right, one final hole. And then, so what would your choice, your Allomantic ability of choice, would it be to pull on metal, push on metal, enhance your senses, enhance your physical abilities, soothe emotions, riot emotions, hide the Allomantic users around you, or hunt them down? What would be your ability of choice? Let me know in the comments, or email me, or text me, or tell me on the bus, or I don't know, when you see me at Kroger, spending too much time shopping for Irish cream, you know, come up and have an awkward conversation with me. It'd be great. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Goodbye.